DayZ community for well over 6 years now, and one thing I always hear is people saying that DayZ needs mods to be good. They tell people forget playing vanilla, go straight to a mod server because of community admins or certain types of mods. And I kind of question for you: when you first started playing DayZ with us about like 2-3 years ago, did you actually find vanilla so bad that you had to have a mod?
Well, the funny thing about that is, I don't think when I started playing DayZ with y'all, we were playing vanilla at the time. I think we actually started with some modded servers, not heavily modded, just like some quality of life things, like extra equipment, things like that. I actually was really unclear for a while what was modded and what was vanilla DayZ. Personally, I don't agree that vanilla DayZ is bad. Does the mods make it better a lot of the time? Yes. You can get some more content out of it. When we talk about mods, I always reference that one server that we played where that crazy monster came out of the woods and was attacking us. I will never forget that. It scared the crap out of me. But things like that made DayZ more interesting in certain ways when I'm looking for that type of play. But also, like, I'm not always looking for some creature chasing me, something like that coming out of the woods. So I think vanilla has its merits.
Yeah, vanilla has a lot of merits, and honestly, I believe wholeheartedly if you can't stand a vanilla version of a game, you're not really liking the game, you're just liking the game people made it into. And that's not bad. It just feels like an empty shell with all this floof around it, right? In real life, it happens all the time. People modify their cars, people modify their 3D printers, that kind of stuff. Most people who modify stuff love the base product, the base machine. And in my eyes, I love DayZ Vanilla. I really do. I've been playing it since actually 2 weeks after it came to a standalone for sale, which was well over 10 years ago. I'd say I was only part of the DayZ community for 6 years because that's when I actually started putting effort into it. I played through all of its renditions. So I've seen infected run through walls. I've seen ladders throw you into high orbit. Cars do all this crazy stuff. Vanilla, every time I play it, is still entertaining enough for me to do it. It's the gunplay, it's the fear of the survivals, dying of hunger, or dysentery, or whatever sicknesses they have in it nowadays. And it feels like a great game on its own.
Here's the thing for me, modded DayZ, at least the servers that I've played and the mods that we've experienced, still feels like DayZ. So at the very least, even if you're playing a modded server, you're still building off vanilla DayZ. And listen, I know that's how mods work. You build on it, but I have also played other games with enough mods to where that game doesn't really feel like the original game anymore. It starts to become something different. Again, there are mods that you can get for DayZ that will take you in a different direction than what vanilla DayZ takes you, but it still feels like DayZ. It still feels like the core gameplay is there. We're not completely changing everything about it. I don't have any specific mods that I can't live without that I've experienced. There's the ones I've played are basic enough to where they're helpful, they're fun, but it doesn't make me be like, man, I can't go back and play vanilla now because this mod gave me this item or this mod made this crafting easier. There's not a lot like that. We talk about Project Zomboid a lot too. There's a lot of mods in Project Zomboid that are that way, that it's hard to go back and play vanilla without once you've experienced that mod.
Back to the time we tested out that custom GUI. I can see all of that, and there are, like you said, quality of life mods out there that are really good and make the game a bit easier. Here's some mods I don't like. I don't like auto run. There's no reason you need to auto run, because in DayZ, people will disagree with me on this big time, by the way. I just don't get it. It's a game about your movement has to be intentional. It has to be your choice. Yeah, sure, if you're playing on a server with nobody on it and you think you want to use auto run, I guess, but at the same time, you're going to go into a populated server and people are just going to mow you down. I think I made our producer, Red Falcon, laugh his butt off. Every time I go into a field, he mentions we're in a field in a clear open. And I just think auto run, although it's a quality of life feature many people like, it doesn't really go in the spirit of, I think, DayZ. And that's just my biased, hypocritical opinion, but whatever.
For me, auto run is a weird a weird thing, and I don't think I would use it or like it. The reason being is that normal DayZ, when not auto running, it's easy to be walking through a forest, running through a field, and kind of get zoned out, get distracted, and forget that there could be somebody in the trees watching you run across this field or run through this forest or whatever, and getting ready to take you out. However, you still are being conscious of moving and moving your character. If I have auto run and I turn that auto run on and I don't have to pay attention anymore and I can just zone out and look over at my other monitor and start doing something else or walk in the other room while my guy crosses a field, it's going to be so much easier for infected or another player to take me out. That's one other thing that's taking me away from being attached to that character in that game.
The other thing I don't like is unlimited stamina. There are so many different mods about this one. There are unlimited stamina mods I like. One of the unlimited stamina mods that I do like is that you have the ability to have no stamina hit from carrying weight until after a certain weight tolerance has been done. So you can carry, like, I don't know, let's say 100 kilograms or whatever before your stamina starts being affected by more items in your inventory, which is kind of a cool way to do it. Kind of like, hey, your guy isn't going to immediately feel the effects of this, but it's only when you're carrying way a lot more. And the other one I really like is the ones that make it so unlimited stamina is only for your running, and if you stop, you can't start sprinting again right away. And you only use stamina when you're aiming down a scope and trying to hold your breath.
Kind of direct your stamina elsewhere instead of using it for absolutely everything. I can see why those would be nice and beneficial. I can also see why I would absolutely hate just having completely unlimited stamina, not having to worry about it at all. I won't say that would make DayZ easy, but it would make it a lot easier. You would have a lot less to worry about and a lot less to be concerned about if you just could attack completely without regard. You could run anywhere you want without running out of stamina and without regard. You could sit there and hold your breath on a scope for 10 minutes. That makes stuff too easy.
I come from pre 0.63 or 1.0, and we had unlimited stamina. And I'll tell you what, nobody liked it. Like, it was just trying to shoot a squirrel. That's something in default DayZ I like, that I think some people enjoy the quality of life of auto running, but just kind of clearing it off, I don't like most auto run mods. And that's the cool thing about DayZ, and the fact that they always say this is your story. You can use mods, no mods. You could love vanilla and all of its mechanics, or you could love half of vanilla and half of its mechanics, or hate it all, or whatever. Even custom map edits can make the game so much more beautiful, so much more different. I know plenty of people who have made like these moss-covered buildings, entirely different scenes. There is so much creativity in the community, even with base vanilla. You see it all the time with Xbox servers and PlayStation servers, and then you also see inside of the vanilla PC community. They do so many cool things to make the server stand out. And yeah, I think, in my opinion, vanilla DayZ is good enough for me to play.
I originally come from a console background period, not in DayZ, but just in general. I didn't do PC gaming for a long time. Mods weren't accessible for pretty much any game for a long time on console. And even when they started becoming prominent on Xbox, for example, because that's what I played on, I kind of stayed away because I'm like, I bought this game to play this game. I didn't buy this game to play a bunch of random stuff that other people made. I was a little bit against mods, I would say, in the beginning. And then I got on PC, got introduced to things like DayZ, Project Zomboid, and got introduced to mods that weren't just changing the game, but kind of bettering the game almost, and kind of fell in love with mods, honestly. Also, I still always hold on to that whole thing of play the vanilla game, experience what it was meant to be without mods, and go back to it every now and then. Try it again. Go back to and experience what the developers and the crew built this game to be. And then, you know, go back to your modded server later if you want, if you prefer. That's totally fine. But don't forget there is a base game and there was something that all of this was built on.
Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe.